We're at 103 pounds, and you're looking at the freshman, Johnni DiJulius from Walsh Jesuit High School. He's 12-1 this year, third at the Ironman, and in the finals here at Brecksville. And he'll be going up against an old foe, Hunter Stieber from Monroeville, a freshman as well, 21-0, first at the Ironman. These boys met last year on our telecast in the state finals in the junior high state tournament at 98 pounds, and Stieber won that one 9-5.
Brian, amazing to see this much talent out of two freshmen. I mean, the freshman class this year is just loaded from top to bottom.
Right. They're very, very good. And that state junior high tournament just keeps sending up terrific kid after terrific kid at all the weight classes.
Right now, DiJulius doing a nice job working that front headlock. Stieber did a good job just to fight out of that.
Stieber, the cadet national champion this past summer at Fargo. Stieber's toughest match was against Ty Mitch from Aurora in the semifinals in an 8-3 battle where Stieber actually got taken down in that bout. DiJulius has had things pretty much his own way in the semis today. He beat Dakota Hayes, who was fourth in the state last year, 7-0 in a very impressive display of wrestling.
Well, we only saw him finals at Ironman, and I'll tell you what, he cruised through that.
That's right. There was. I talked to the little DiJulius boy. He said he was so nervous before the semifinals. I mean, you gotta remember, we're talking about boys who are only 14, 15 years old.
Well,
good shot there by Stieber.
And as much as I've heard about Stieber, you know, DiJulius is another name that's in our viewing area. That's one we've heard for a long, long time also.
That's right, 3 times a junior high state placer. As I said, runner-up last year. And as the first period winds down, it's Stieber with the 2-0 lead as we go to round 2.
Here's another look at that double leg. Stieber does a nice job just lowering his levels, hits a blast double, gathers the legs up, gets his 2 points.
Those legs, nice.
It was Stieber's choice, and he said, let's go both up. He didn't want to go down on this situation, and he's close to yet another takedown here. And there it is, and that makes it 4-0.
And that was just almost the opposite type of a double leg. Very lazy, just gathered the legs in, slowly worked his way up. Very patient, though, in finishing that takedown. Julius is going to have to do something here to get offensive.
Mike, Brian, and I were talking to some of the coaches before this thing started, and as we see the escape there, 4-1, coaches just all, Monroeville's been the talk, really. A lot of people talking about these kids, how young they are, how they handle the pressure, and Brian made a good point. You know, a lot like St. Ignatius years ago when they won the state title. You got 3 kids winning state every year. I mean, that's almost enough to win state. They could win the next few.
And it's not that far-fetched. You know, you say, well, don't call them state champions yet, but if you've placed in the top 4 and 3 of them won it, you know, you've got to chalk them up, especially in a lower division, Division 3.
Yeah, Division 3.
You'd have to chalk them up as state champs. Not to take anything away from Division 3, because as we look at the scoreboard, it's dominated by Division 3 teams.
Yeah, the only thing is right now, Troy Christian and Marion Pleasant both have real depth and some real good up-top strength. So Monroeville, they could have 4 state champs. Those 4 kids are all very, very good. But we see a lot of Troy Christian boys placing here, some in the finals, but a lot of them placing 3rd, 4th, 5th.
And that's where the numbers help you there.
But Julius is doing a nice job of getting into this front headlock. He just can't capitalize on it. Stieber's doing a nice job of controlling the elbow. He's really just trying to set up a sucker drag on the bottom.
Stieber looks to be the stronger of the 2 boys physically. Still 4-1 now as we go to the last 20 seconds of the second period. Stieber with a takedown in both the first and second period. And DiJulius with the escape. Notice Stieber looking at the clock there to see whether to go all out. And we end the second period 4-1. DiJulius taking down here. I mean, let's face it, an escape and a takedown ties it.
Back tied.
While it ties it, he hasn't really been close, though, on his feet. So, you know, I almost wanted to see him take the top position to see if he might be able to capitalize on top. The one thing that's good about wrestling somebody like Stieber or really any of the other kids from Monroeville, they don't get taken down very often. So hopefully they didn't get a lot of chance to practice on the bottom. But
well, when it was Stieber's choice, he would made a point not to take the bottom, that's for sure. That makes it 4-2 now, right? So he's got at least a little bit of what he needed to do.
I think if DiJulius wants to take him down, he's going to have to create some angles, get to a side. He's been wrestling the whole match right in front of Stieber, and quite frankly, I think, like you said, Brian, Stieber's a little bit too strong for him at this level.
He'll be content to stay in that tie.
We'll see Monroeville kids in the first 3 weight classes at 3, 12, and 19. And then, of course, the freshman sensation Chris Phillips again in the finals at 171 pounds after winning the most valuable wrestling award at the Ironman just 3 weeks ago.
We'll talk about the Georgia boy when we get up there too, because that's kind of a funny story you were talking about, Brian.
Yeah. We have 2 teams from Georgia here, Union Grove, who's ranked number 2 or number 3 in their state, depending on their poll, and Walton, Georgia, who has been a powerhouse in the past, but who struggled big time here. Okay, last 20 seconds. I think a closer match than many anticipated.
But the control's been with Stieber the entire match.
DiJulius will not go easily.
No. We've seen a little bit more of that earlier, only 3 seconds left.
And we will crown our first champion here at 103 pounds. Extending his record to 22-0, the freshman Hunter Stieber from Monroeville High School. The winner by a 4-2 count here at 103 pounds. And there's your champion.